So good evening, everybody, and welcome to this time and welcome to this space. This is Anil Sachdev, the founder of the School of Inspired Leadership, and I'm so glad that you are part of this webinar today. Soil is something very special because the reason why we have created soil is because we truly want to make a difference. And when I was your age, I had dreamt about making a difference to this country because I had heard stories from my parents that India used to be a great economic power at one time. And along with that, we were also the center for learning of the world. So when I was in college, I had dreamt that one day I would create an institution that would truly develop the next generation of leaders. And when I was interviewed for my first job, by Mr. Arun Maira, who is now a member of India's Planning Commission. You know, he is somebody whom I respect a lot, and he asked me at that time, what's the purpose of your life? And I said to him, sir, I would work in industry for the first part of my life, then I would set up a consulting company to help companies to transform themselves. And the last part of my life I would spend in the field of education to develop the next generation of leaders. And in fact, I had also visualized that maybe one day I would then be doing advisory work for the Planning Commission of India. And it's interesting that Mr. Arun Maira is now my neighbor. He lives in the same community in Gurgaon, and he is now a member of India's Planning Commission. And 2 years back, he invited us to do some work with him. And recently, we are also facilitating a process to help India's Planning Commission to develop a vision for India. So last 2 months, I have been facilitating this dialogue with Dr. Montek Ahluwalia and all the members of the Planning Commission. So it's very interesting that as a young man, you had visualized something. That's what I did. And actually, I am in that space now where I am doing what I had visualized as a young man. And I think soil is therefore very special. And it is the journey of the founder, which is my own journey, to say to each one of you that if you dream about something which is very powerful, which truly matters to you, and if you follow that dream and that cause, and you become the follower of that cause, then the cause has tremendous power. And so people come from nowhere to help you. And so then you really become very, very powerful because people are supporting you and they make the dream come true. And so soil is about helping each one of the people who come here. And so we are looking for those leaders and those people amongst you who truly want to make a difference, who have a dream. Maybe you have a dream of setting up your own company. Maybe you have a dream to serve society in a particular way. Maybe you have a powerful idea that you want to explore further. Or maybe there is a part of you which says, you know what, I have done an education of one kind and I'm doing a job of another kind, but I have a dream of doing something else. And so soil is a place where we help you to understand what your own talent is. We help you to understand what your dreams are, and we help you to leverage your talent towards your dreams. That builds deep enthusiasm in your heart. So when you take responsibility for your dreams, you demonstrate your character. When you learn how to use your character towards your dreams, then you develop competence. And when that happens, you develop deep enthusiasm in your heart. So we say soil is about building leaders with character, competence, and enthusiasm. And so this is a very special journey for the creation of soil. And I wanted to welcome you to this webinar. I'm sure you have many, many questions in your hearts. So before I tell you more about soil and how we are working here and what are all our programs and offerings all about, with these opening comments, I want to invite you to ask questions so that you can ask questions and I can give you a response to your questions. So please go ahead. I will tell you more about soil once I get at least a couple of questions from you so that I know what you would like to hear in this particular webinar rather than simply tell you what I have in mind. Okay. Okay, you are asking me a very important question as to do we have any affiliation of soil and what is the significance of that. So, I can tell you the reason we have decided, just like Indian School of Business did, ISB and soil both decided not to seek approval of the Government of India and not go to the All India Council for Technical Education for approval. This is because we feel that the current law in the country which regulates education is not the appropriate law. We believe that the restrictions that are put on an educational institution in terms of the intake we should take, the infrastructure we should have, the number of courses we should teach, and how we should go about teaching those courses, we believe they have not been well thought of. And we also know that there is a bill coming before Parliament to regulate higher education in a new form, where the government proposes to disband the All India Council for Technical Education and instead institute a regulatory body in which you can apply for accreditation. So when that new law is passed, soil will file for accreditation. Currently, we do not like the current controls that government puts. So therefore, we are running it completely as a private enterprise, which is supported by the best companies in India. Because the affiliation that you talk about is meant only to get recognition from the top employers. So fortunately for soil, all the best companies in India, whether they are multinational companies operating here or Indian companies, they all support soil. So even in our first batch, more than 100 companies recruited out of soil. And that trend continues till today. Already in the last 1 month since our placements have begun, more than 40 of the top companies have already participated in our recruitment process, and more than 30 students in the first 1 month have already been placed. We have a rolling process where the placement goes on for 5 months, and just like the admission process goes on for 5 months. So since we want recognition from the top employers and we already have that, we don't see the need of any affiliation. So that was your question. Now, you also asked a question, Rohit Sinha has asked a question, how soil is helpful for an experienced professional with more than 7 years. Well, actually, the ideal number of years of experience is 2 to 3 years. People with 3 to 5 years should join our business leadership program. People with 1 to 2 years of, or maybe even less than 3 years of experience should apply either for the program in marketing leadership or human resource leadership. We believe that some amount of experience helps, although we are willing to consider outstanding freshers also who have done some outstanding achievements in extracurricular activities or academics or something special. So they can apply, but we prefer people with experience, but not too much of experience, because what happens if you have more than, let's say, 7 years of experience, then industries that come for recruitment in soil, they don't tend to have too many openings for people with a lot of experience, because they don't go to business school for hiring people with a lot of experience. For that, they generally recruit in the open market, and business schools, lateral entry is not generally open for people with too much experience. So I would say that our school is very good for students up to 7 years of experience. More than 7 years of experience, we generally don't like to hire, although in the past we have taken some special people who understand that they could have some difficulties in placement if they have more experience. But if they are still wanting to develop themselves and they are not placement oriented, but they purely want to develop their own talent, their own profile, then we welcome such students as well. So that was the question about people. Now Vinay Kumar wants to know, he wants us to elaborate on the type of instruction, lecture, experiential, case method. Well, Vinay, as you can imagine that there are 3 parts of learning. One is knowing, the other is doing, and the third is being. Being is about understanding yourself, understanding your own strengths, and understanding how to manage yourself. That means leadership of yourself. So we do a lot of interesting things in soil to help you understand yourself. I personally teach courses on self-leadership, which I also teach all over the world. So as a part of these courses, we do a lot of exercises which are like introspection, learning from silence. We take you to a trip to the Himalayas where we go and interact with the villages. We call leaders 2-3 times a month in the evenings to interact with you on what we call the leadership series, which they tell the stories of their lives and you can understand from those stories. Then we send you to work with an NGO one day in a week so that you really learn what the grassroots level problems of India are. You go and work with the slum children. You work with the poorest of the poor. That helps you to understand what the realities on the ground are. We call that the social innovation program. So that means there is a lot of emphasis. We also teach classes in yoga and meditation because those are very unique classes. Then we have a 1 week intense learning through theatre. In that, we have some of the finest theatre artists in the country like Lushan Dubey and Amrita Lalji, who come and expose you to case studies using theatre. So you are put into live situations and you are asked, if you were in the place of these characters in the story, what would you have done differently? And so you expose yourself to your ethical dilemmas and values. You learn values through theatre. So we do a lot of experiential learning. We also then have something like internship projects. That means these are called live projects from industry. So there are a lot of companies which sponsor projects in which students are encouraged to take time every week to work on a project which they can apply what they are learning in the classroom. Plus, there are lots of group projects that are given to you to prepare on a particular task. For example, I teach the course on consulting skills and I give live consulting projects to students. So they actually get a chance to work on that and apply their learning. And of course, there are also the traditional lectures and the normal case studies. So I would say the lecture style of learning is only 20% in soil. Maybe there are another 30% of simulations and group projects. Maybe there are another 30% of working with the industry leaders and other companies and NGOs. And maybe there is 20% of actual skill building kind of workshops. So I would say lecture method is only 1/5 of what the total learning process is, if that's what you wanted to know. Now, Vivek Yadav wants to know how many campus placements a student can sit for. So basically, Vivek, the answer to that is that there is no upper limit on that, although we expect you to crack a job maybe by sitting for 2 or 3 interviews. However, if you have still not cracked it, for some reason you haven't been able to crack, we allow you to continue sitting for interviews till you get a placement. Once you get a job, then you are out of placement. In a rare case, students have even appeared for 7 or 8 interviews. But of course, that means they have not prepared well, or that means that they have not really taken that much effort. So that's something that both we and the students need to be more careful about. But otherwise there is no such upper limit saying you cannot sit for more placements. I know in some campuses they don't allow you to sit for more than 3 interviews. And our desirable impact here is also to sit for 3, but so far we have not enforced that because we are allowing people to appear till they get a job. So that's what happens. But I want you to know that no institute of any good quality, for example, my daughter went to London School of Economics, and my son went to Indiana University, Kelley School of Business for doing his MBA. In both these, which are top schools of the world, there is no such thing that the institute ensures placement. This is only in India that students expect that institute will arrange placements. So we are very happy to tell that maximum number of companies visit our campus for interviews, but whether you get a job or not entirely depends upon you and how you perform. And so we keep arranging opportunities for you, but finally whether you succeed or not depends upon what you are looking for, how you are utilizing your talent, and whether you are able to impress that particular company or not. So that's what the placement process is all about. Now, Nikhil Girotra, you are asking questions like, there are the companies visiting the campus more interested in a particular program, say BLP, or all programs are able to attract companies and in turn get good placements, as I am typically interested in marketing leadership. Well, companies which visit soil are interested in all kinds of students. There are students with specialization in marketing who are doing the marketing leadership program whom companies are considering. But there are also companies considering the business leadership class students also for marketing roles. And of course, there are companies visiting for HR roles. So I would say all kinds of companies come to campus for all kinds of roles, ranging from operations to business development to program management, project management, and all kinds of other interesting things. So I think companies come for all kinds of roles. Now Ankit Gupta wants to know, is a one-year management program fruitful for a fresher? I would say this is a difficult question to answer, Ankit, because to be very honest with you, we prefer people with experience, but we allow freshers. Now, what is meant by that? If you are capable of taking on a lot of pressure, that means you have to demonstrate to yourself and to us, either through your superior academic performance or your superior performance in your psychometric assessment that we do, the caliper test, or the way you have performed in extracurricular activities. You have to show that you have the ability to do multiple things under pressure. So, because the fact is that in our course, you are learning the same number of courses which people learn in 2 years in 1 year. That means you have to work harder. We don't have any holidays. We work 6 days a week rather than in a 2-year program, students do 5 days a week. So, I would say that we allow outstanding freshers who are highly motivated and who want to work under pressure, who have the ability to work under pressure. For them, I would urge that they could consider soil. But if you feel you are doubtful about that, in the past you are used to learning at a more leisurely pace, that you find it difficult to do multiple things at the same time, and that that in the past your nature is such that you would like to take your own time, then I would encourage you not to apply to a one-year school. Because all over Europe, these days they have only a one-year program in the best schools. Even in America and Canada, people are shifting now. Many schools are shifting to a one-year program. But almost in all schools, they are preferring people with experience. So if you are a fresher, I would say, judge for yourself carefully, do you have the ability to take on pressure? If you have that, you are welcome to apply to soil. Yeah, now Vinay Kumar wants to know, are there exchange opportunities with foreign universities? How many seats are available for such programs? So we have tied up with 3 of the best schools in the world which are there, and one is what is called the Brainbridge Graduate Institute, BGI. This is the world's first MBA program with focus on sustainability. And this is held in a place called the Brainbridge Island at Seattle. So this has been founded by the very famous family called the Gifford and Libba Pinchot. Mr. Pinchot used to be the Secretary Environment of the US government, and this is a very well-known family. And you can go and see their website. The details are also given in our website about BGI. Secondly, we have an arrangement with what is called MIP. MIP is one of the best schools in Italy and in Europe. It has a very strong focus on design, the whole aspect of aesthetics and design, and it has also been created with the help of a consortium of companies. So that's the other school in Europe. And then we have a partnership with University of New Brunswick in Canada. So this year, in fact, we made offers to 10 students to go to Seattle. We had possibility of 5 students going to MIP and a couple of students going to Canada. So 17. But frankly, very few students applied. Only about 15 students applied for these exchange programs. Finally, 4 of them were selected to go to Seattle. And unfortunately, 3 of them have been denied visa to go to by the US government. We don't know why they have been denied visa. This is a problem with the embassy. So one of the students finally is going to Seattle. And then with Italy, one student was considering the program till recently. So right now there are more opportunities available than the students applying. I think this is because obviously students have to, although they are not being charged anything for tuition fee, but they have to pay for their own airfare and accommodation. So that cost of airfare and accommodation is an expenditure of maybe 1.5 lakhs. And since students are generally taking loans, some of the students who are studying in soil are not that keen to spend money of going there. And so I think this is, so to answer your question, there are many opportunities available. And in fact, I have stopped looking for more opportunities because right now we have a problem that not that many students are applying to go overseas. So if some of you are interested, I am sure you will be given a chance to go because we have more opportunities than what students are applying right now. So I think Gagan Sagar wants to know, you are a hotel management graduate and a fresher and you want to take admission in HRLP. So you want to know, since you are a fresher, would soil be a good place? I think I answered this question earlier. I don't know if you listened to me. That if you are an outstanding fresher who has the capacity to take on pressure, then we could consider. But if you feel that it's difficult for you to take on pressure, you should not apply to soil. Then you should apply to a traditional 2-year program. Shiv Shankar wants to know, do overseas recruiters come to soil? Well, Shiv Shankar, many global companies come to soil, whether it is Johnson & Johnson or it is Schneider or it is Unilever, which is giving a chance to this year to our students to be assessed. This year even McKinsey is interviewing our students. So I would say that a lot of global companies are coming to soil. It is not exclusively for international postings, but some of them after recruiting, they may post somebody overseas. But we are not getting companies exclusively only for overseas placement. No such thing is happening right now. So companies come with an idea to recruit for India, but they are global companies, so it's possible they may post people overseas. That even companies like Infosys that recruited from soil last year posted some of our students overseas. So that can happen as a part of your placement policy by the company, but there are no exclusive companies coming to soil only for foreign placements. So far, no. Rupam Sinha, you have been told by many people, why do you want to join soil? Why not try for a regular MBA? Your views, please. Well, Rupam, if you want to listen to the regular people, obviously they will tell you not just soil, why would you join any new school? So I think the reason you should join soil, if you want to join, is only if you are truly convinced that you want to develop the leadership qualities in you. And we only want those students who truly want to make a difference to the world. We don't want the run-of-the-mill student who just wants to join the rat race for getting another job. If you are just looking for that, then this is the wrong place. But if you have a dream that you want to follow, if you truly want to make a difference in this world, if there is some cause that is close to you in your heart, and if you really want to develop yourself as a leader, then you should come to soil. This is a leadership school. This is not just like a regular business school. And you must know that before you come here. Srinath Fatke wants to know, you already have a PG, DBM, and I'm interested in BLP. You have Marcom and brand management experience. Now you want to move to next level of management. Do you think BLP will help me in achieving? Well, it's very difficult to answer that because in the past there have been a couple of students who have done their MBAs from other schools who have joined soil in the BLP program. And I would say the experience has been mixed because some of the recruiters were suspicious of these students to say, if you already had an MBA, why did you come to soil? So it was hard for them to explain that in the first MBA they did not get enough learning, that they did not explore their own personal development that much, that in that school the leadership development angle was not emphasized. So if you are able to convince the people because you have come to develop yourself, because in business leadership class about 40% of the knowledge is such, which is the functional knowledge you would have studied earlier. So that 40% is like a refresher course for you. But then the other 60% is new. And so if you can convince yourself and the recruiter that the 60% is worth it, which is the learning of your own leadership abilities, your character, doing social innovation, working with NGOs, learning about self-leadership, and all those dimensions. If you can convince a recruiter and you can convince in your own heart that you want to make that investment, then I would encourage you. But if you have a doubt in your heart, you should not come to soil. It would not be worth it. Now Vivek Yadav wants to know, let's say as a fresher you get placed from soil, but then after a couple of years I shift to another company apart from the 32 companies. Will my certificate from soil be valued as it is a 1-year program and MBA 2-year? So MBA student given more importance? Well, that's not true, because soil is fast gaining a tremendous reputation. And it's not just the 32 companies which are part of our consortium. More than 100 companies are coming to soil for recruitment. And they are not 32. There are 70 of the good companies which are not part of the consortium. For example, HCL Technologies or HCL Information Systems or John Deere or companies of that kind which are not part of the consortium, but they all come here. And so I would say that the certificate is valued not because there is a paper, but because people value the people who have founded soil, the credibility of the program that we are developing, the performance of our alumni already in companies. That is what is attracting companies to us. So I think the reputation is gathering by the day, and I think therefore we don't have any worries about the certificate not having value, because I think the paper that you carry carries value if you actually carry the learning in your heart and if you perform like that on the job. And I think many of our alumni are doing us proud. So I think that is what is building the reputation of soil. In fact, I must tell you this, on our last convocation days, the students came to me and said, they collectively gave me a letter saying they are so moved by the soil experience that for the rest of their lives, they would like to donate 10% of their salary towards soil. So I said to them, you should not give that money to us, but you should fund the education of other poor children, and you should work with the NGOs, and you should put the money there. That will build the reputation. But that's how much love our students have for us and how much we have for our students. So that shows you the kind of relationship we have. Now Pranshu Gupta wants to know, I want you to compare soil with a 1-year UK MBAs of some good universities. You want to choose. Well, I can only say that I have not interacted with every UK university, but I have visited some other schools like the Cranfield School, or my daughter had considered, University of Warwickshire, or she did a master's from London School of Economics. So I would say that it's very difficult to compare like that. But because I would say some of the things, I just want to tell you recently from Harvard Business School, Dr. Shrikant Dattar, who has written a book called Redesigning the MBA. He called us as soil to a special workshop which was being done in SP Jain Institute in Mumbai, in which all the IIMs were called, XLRI was called, SP Jain was hosting it, and soil was asked to present our case study on how we are doing this unique program for developing leaders. So we are becoming a recognized case study by Harvard University because they truly think that we are doing something special. And last year, soil was also chosen by the All India Management Association and Accenture for an award for innovation. You see, they had a global conference on innovation, and they invited case studies from all the companies in India. They asked us to apply, although we are not a company in a traditional sense, we are an educational venture. But we were asked to submit our case study, and our students and faculty wrote a case study. So then they shortlisted 20 case studies to be presented to the jury. And we were very happy when we were chosen amongst 20. But we were absolutely shocked. I mean, shocked is a word, because we were, in one hand, shocked, the other hand, thrilled, when they declared the results of the top innovators in India, not across educational institutions, but amongst all the organizations in India. They chose Tata Chemicals as the biggest innovator in India for their discovery of Swachh, which is a water purifying system. Then they chose Indian Oil Company for their discovery of special kind of lubricants. And imagine soil was given the third prize amongst everybody in India on the biggest innovators in India for our model of higher education. The fourth prize went to Tata Motors for its Nano, and the fifth prize went to Bhabha Atomic Research Center for their discovery of heavy water. So you can imagine that Accenture and IMA and an eminent jury chose us amongst the top 3 innovators in India. I mean, we really felt humbled with that recognition. And I think we are doing something quite extraordinary in this school. And so a lot of people are beginning to write about us, they are researching us, and so that's what is very special about our program. Shweta, you are asking a question, if you pursue HR leadership program, will it be considered as a postgraduate diploma? As I mentioned, Shweta, the question is implicit, will it be considered? The question comes, who will consider? If the top companies of India, including Hindustan Levers, Johnson & Johnson, Schneider, John Deere, Infosys, Tata Steel, Mahindra, if all these companies are recognizing us on par with any MBA in India, whether it is ISB or IIM or XLRI, and if they are treating us on par, then you have already got the answer. You see, when I was a recruiter, before I set up the school, I created 2 consulting companies. I was on the board of a company called iShare. I must have personally interviewed over 10,000 MBAs in campuses in all the best. I used to go to the IIMs, XLRI, SP Jain every year for recruitment. Let me tell you, it did not bother me what paper certificate the students had. What I was looking for is the curriculum, I was looking for the quality of faculty, and I was looking for what was actually taught as I experienced in the students. So that is most important, not the paper that you carry. And the best companies in India recognize us as equivalent to any top MBA program. That is what counts. Nothing else counts in life. So Siddharth Shah wanted to know, reply to Vinay's questions. I don't know what he means by that. Okay, that must be something else. Okay. Srinath Fatke, what are the kind of companies profiles to companies offered to students in BLP? All this information is already given on our website. Just to repeat, HCL Technologies, Infosys, this year even Happiest Minds, which is a new technology company, has already recruited 7 students from campus. Johnson & Johnson, lots of companies. I think they are all given on the website. You can look at the names of recruiters from our website. I think they are all given there. Ankit Gupta wants to know, thank you sir, but pressure means like what? Can you please elaborate? Like I am a technical student looking forward for a finance program in soil. Still I should think twice before applying to this 1-year program? Well, let me define what pressure means. I think that's a good question. Pressure means, besides attending classes for 5 hours every day, so every class is of like 75 minutes, and let's say you are doing 4 classes a day, and after doing that you have another 1 hour in the school in which we are making you practice your communication and the way you express yourself and your general awareness. So let's say you are in school for something like 6 hours. If you include the lunch and break times, you are in school probably for 7 hours or sometimes 8 hours. And then on some days of the week, there are evening guest lectures from people from industry. So these are senior leaders, not just from industry, but from any walks of life. Like we have had governors of the states, we have had social workers, spiritual masters, people with accomplishments in any discipline. So several times in a month we have evening sessions like that. Then, besides all this, you are given projects to do. So which means after you go back from the school, you have to study and learn and work together and work on projects that can give you another 4 hours of load. So pretty much you will get up at 6 in the morning and probably go to sleep at 11 in the night. So, and this 1 year, you can't do too much of your other stuff that you are normally used to, So if you want to do Facebook 1 hour a day, or if you want to chat to your friends 1 hour a day, or if you want to, just plain socializing, I mean, those kinds of things in 1 year, you can forget about it. I think you have very little time for Facebook or just chatting, or if at all you are doing Facebook and chatting, you are doing everything around your own school and around your own program. So you are pretty much busy 12 hours a day, and that is a lot of pressure for those who are not used to doing that. And that's what I meant by taking on pressure. So whether you should join the specific program or not, if you think that you can take on 12 hours a day kind of pressure intensely for 1 year, then you should apply. If you have some doubts about that, you should not. Nikhil Girotra wants to know, does SOIL have tie-ups with some financial institutions for education loans? Yes, absolutely. Punjab National Bank, if you see their website, we are on their website. We are also we are an approved institution for granting loans. We are also approved by HDFC Bank, and they have a special division which gives loans. So these are the two, but there are many other banks also which agree, even including Bank of Baroda. But these are the top two banks. Especially the favorite of our students seems to be PNB, Punjab National Bank. That seems to work well. Vinay Kumar, I understand SOIL is a new school, but how well are the alumni connections? Are there websites, publications for alumni? What opportunities do we have to connect with the alumni? Absolutely. All this is available. There is an alumni, complete connect program. There is something called a SOIL Mag. If you visit our website and go to the SOIL Mag section, you will feel a lot of stuff is written there. We have regular connections with alumni. Just a few weeks back, I was in Mumbai. I had a dinner with all the alumni in Mumbai. So absolutely, we have a strong alumni connect program. Our third batch is passing out this year, but the first two batches really love the school. They keep coming back to school. Even just now, just before I came to this webinar, one of our alumni had dropped in to say hello, who works as head of marketing with a startup company called People Strong. So I would say very strong connections of the alumni. In fact, just for your information, nearly 40% of our admissions are based on what we call a program called Leader Inspire Leader. This means our alumni actually recommend, and our students recommend new students for admissions. And if they get selected through our stringent process of selection, then on their behalf we donate 30,000 rupees to a charity of their choice. Because we believe we are saving our advertising and marketing costs. You would have noticed we don't give any newspaper advertisements for SOIL, because we think that's a waste of money. Instead, we spend more time on Leader Inspire Leader. We ask our alumni to recommend good students for admissions. And so there is a very strong connect program with alumni. So that's the answer to that. Debanjan wants to know, how good would this program be for people with more than 5 years of work experience, both in terms of postgraduate placements and work profile? I think, Debanjan, you may have joined this webinar a little bit later, because I had answered this earlier. For your benefit, I will answer it again. SOIL, the business leadership program, is ideal for people with 3 to 5 years of experience. Anytime you become more than 7 years of experience, you start having a disadvantage, because there are not that many companies that come to business schools to recruit people with more experience. But between 3 to 5 years, it is ideal, because we are developing you. You may have been an individual contributor so far. We are developing you as a manager of people. So the role we are developing you are, for example, project manager, program manager, brand manager, sales manager. So those are profiles where you are now supervising other people. You are not an individual contributor, but you are becoming a manager of people. So if in your work in last 5 years, you have been an individual contributor and you want to develop yourself as a manager of people, you should apply to SOIL. And that's what this program is meant for, the business leadership program. Rohit Sinha wants to know what kind of profiles are offered to BLP students. I just mentioned that for BLP, some of the best profiles are like project manager, program manager, business development manager, let's say manager for a certain process, let's say a brand manager, let's say a product manager, those kinds of profiles. There are also profiles like operations, let's say working in the area of operations and supply chain as a manager of a particular section in that area. If you are interested in doing work, for example, in management consulting, then you are recruited as a consultant. And so, it's just like any other program where there is a focus for people with more experience. So these are the typical, these are positions in the middle in the company, not at the starting point, which is given to people who are individual contributors, but people who are manager of others. Those are the positions that are given. Pranshu Gupta, thanks for answering my last question. I am a very different field, skill development to be precise. I almost have 3 years of work experience. How would this add value to my resume and also to my wallet? I don't know how to answer that question. I haven't seen your individual case. I can only say that you should apply to soil if you truly want to develop your personality, if you want to develop your perspective, and if you have a dream of making a difference. If you want to become a good leader, you should join soil. Of course, we will give you all the disciplines of the finance, marketing, operations, technology, and the basic disciplines of management. But on top of that, we actually give you a complete exposure on how to be a better human being and how to be a better leader. And thirdly, we teach you specific skills, which are how to communicate with impact, how to write more effectively, how to negotiate better, how to develop win-win partnerships, those kinds of things. So lots of softer aspects. And if you think that you have the basic analytical ability and the basic work experience, but now you really want to become a well-rounded leader, then you should apply to soil. The return on investment is like this. In any good program, whether it is a good business school in India or overseas, if you are in a good MBA program, whatever you spend as fees in your MBA program, you should earn that in your first year's salary. So, for example, if the fees in soil is 10 lakhs, and if you have come here with a few years of experience, and currently you are earning, let's say, 4 or 5 lakhs, then you can expect that when you pass out of soil, you should get a salary of 9 to 10 lakhs, which is similar to your fees. So similarly in Harvard University, if you go to Harvard MBA, you will spend maybe $120,000 as fees, and that will be on an average your salary in your first year. So this 1:1 relationship is in a good quality MBA school. However, in the lesser known schools, let's say which are category C schools, there you may spend, let's say, 9 lakhs on your fees, but the average salary you will get offered is 4.5 lakhs. That means it will take you 2 years to earn your fees. So, the ratio of the first year's salary by the investment you make, if it is 1:1, you are working in an A grade school. If it is 0.7, you are working in a B grade school. If it is 0.5 or lower, you are working in a C grade school. Fortunately for soil, so far our placements and fees ratio has been almost 1:1, and therefore we believe that we have provided a good return on investment to our students. Tushar wants to know, what are the demerits, if any, of the certificate program compared to other degree program? Will it lead to any discriminatory treatment during job promotions? I have been a member of the board of Aisher Group. I was also heading HR in that company. Once a student joined us, it did not matter to us. We did not worry at all about which institute he was from, which institute he came from, and what certificate he carried. Once you join a company, everything depends upon your performance. Nobody wants to see your previous certificate. It all depends on how you performed on the job. It's only an entry point that people look at certificate. After that, it does not matter. Fortunately for soil, the best companies are recruiting out of soil, so it does not matter. And there are some students who have, from our alumni, who have changed their jobs from the first company to the new company, and they have managed to get better jobs. So nothing has come in their way. I think if you do extremely well, that's what counts in life. But yes, if you are a undergraduate student, let's say you have done a BSc or a BA or BCom, and you are not an engineer, and if you plan to do a PhD tomorrow, then a PhD program will ask for a minimum of 16 years of education. And India's BA, BSc, BComs are generally 3 years. So they will not admit you to a PhD program in America or even in India where they will hold that against you. But if you are a BE or a BTech, or if you have done a 4 years bachelor's course in universities, then you can directly apply in many universities for a PhD program. So for those who have got an intention to do doctoral programs, I would like you to be careful. You should check with the university whether they would give credit for what we are providing. That's what I would say. Except for that, I think there is no discrimination in our mind or in the industry's mind. Nikhil Girotra wants to know, I am a technical guy interested in marketing. How possible it is after MLP from soil? Do companies consider guys with technical experience into marketing roles? Well, Nikhil, it's actually depends a lot upon how you learn in soil and how you manage to take the advantage of all the projects we provide and how you impress the interviewers. So I would say that they will not give weightage only to your prior experience. They will treat you like as if you have not worked in the past. Therefore, if they offer you a management trainee profile in marketing, it will be similar to the ones who may not have worked earlier. However, if it's an IT company and you have an IT background, and if they have a role in business development or marketing, they may give some weightage to the fact that you have worked earlier. So, to answer your question, if you are a very specialized technical guy and if you have worked for a long time, then people don't take you straight away into marketing. They want to really test you. But if you have got 2-3 years of experience and you are willing to start in marketing, which is a new discipline for you, they are willing to consider you, provided you show in the interview you have learnt enough of the concepts and you have shown that kind of grasp over the subject. So really depends upon how well you learn and how well you perform in the interview. Ankit Gupta wants to know, during a recruitment drive, will there be any kind of discrimination between a fresher and an experienced holder, or will they examine same? You see, there are, in all MBA schools, there are two kinds of recruitment. One is for management trainee profile, where they look at freshers, but where they also are willing to consider people with some experience. But then they do something called lateral recruitment, which is meant for people with experience. So, if you are a fresher, you cannot apply for lateral recruitment, which is meant for people with experience. Whereas if you have experience, you can apply for profiles which are like for management trainees. So people with experience have that advantage. They can apply both for management trainee position if they want to change the track, or they can apply for lateral postings as well. So really depends upon your profile and what they are looking for. Discrimination is not there for freshers. In fact, our experience so far has been that freshers have got placed much faster than those with more experience. And of course, people with 2 to 3 years of experience also they get placed quite easily. Once the experience goes beyond 5 years, it becomes tougher for people to get placed. Especially more than 7 years, it becomes very difficult, because companies don't generally go to campuses for recruiting people with that experience. So that's what the answer is. Indranil wants to know, if you don't get placed in soil, then will we have no value as the degree is not approved? Well, my friend Arun Nanda, who is the MD of one of the chairmen of Mahindra's, his son passed out of Harvard Business School last year in 2011, and he did not get a job. So last year in Harvard University, only 60% students got jobs, 40% did not get jobs. Does it mean people don't value what he did? Of course not. So in our first batch of 60 students, 3 or 4 students did not get the job by the time they passed out. It took them 2-3 months more to get a job. Of course, they finally got a job. Last year, out of 77 students, when they passed out, I think 7 or 8 students had not been placed. Eventually, all of them got placed. So it really depends upon you. It does not depend upon, and as far as the people are concerned, they value soil because of what it teaches. And we are earning our credibility by our curriculum, by our what we are doing, by the quality of our faculty, and by the tremendous support we get from the best companies in India. That's what the qualities in soil are. So, but placement is entirely up to you. No school, whether it is Harvard or IIM Ahmedabad or ISB or soil, no school should guarantee placement to any student. and we refuse to guarantee placement to any student in soil. If you are confident of yourself, if you truly believe you are a good learner, all that we take responsibility for is to create opportunities for you to be placed. If the market is tough, if the jobs are not there, if companies don't find you suitable, well, you have to face the music. I think no educational institution ought to guarantee placement. I think we are not a placement factory. No educational institution should do that. And so I think you should purely depend upon your own abilities and confidence in yourself. All we are doing is promising a great learning experience, and which can be checked up from any one of our students or alumni, and any one of you can come and actually visit soil, sit in the classroom, see for yourself what we are doing. That's the best way for you to actually learn from what's happening here. Tushar wants to know what are the chances of getting selected because you are a fresher and you are age 23 and people have experience. As I told you, Tushar, earlier I told some of the students who asked this question, if you are an outstanding fresher, that means you have done well in your academics or in extracurricular activities or in our caliper test you do very well, then you have good chances of getting selected. But if your caliper score is low, your academic scores are low and you don't have any exceptional extracurricular activities, then you will not get selected. But it's not just the number of years of experience, it is the overall profile we look at. Okay? Shiv Shankar says, I have heard that soil offers 100% placement, but why can't we find it amongst the top rated B schools? Shiv Shankar, we have not participated in any rankings of business schools. We have refused to do so because we are not a regular business school. We don't want to be compared. We don't want to join the rat race. But I have already explained earlier how we have won many awards already, how we are becoming a case study at Harvard where the Harvard professors are citing us, how people are looking at this opportunity of joining soil, and we are doing that because of that reason. Our reputation is because of what we do. We have not participated in any rankings or ratings. But when the new bill before Parliament is passed, which makes it possible for the accreditation process to happen, so that all of us can apply for the voluntary accreditation process, the quality process, then we will subject ourselves to that. And I am sure we will get a very good rating in the process of accreditation. So right now, we are already being talked about the companies that are coming here at campus. For example, Hindustan Levers goes only to 9 companies. This year they have included soil as the 10th company from where they have invited applications. And we are waiting for a date for their interviews. So many companies have included soil in the top 10, top 15, top 20 business schools in India where they go for recruitment. And so that is what is the truth. But we have not participated in any rankings, and therefore that is not reported about us. But even in the Business Today issue this year, which did a special issue on rankings, they have written there soil has not participated in ranking, but they have done special coverage of soil because of its unique model. And you should read about that. Vivek Bhatti wants to know, I won't say I am Rancho from Three Idiots, but in nutshell, can it be said that soil is a place for ranchos too, where one could challenge the education method? Actually, you are absolutely right. When Three Idiots was shown, all our students came and said, sir, it looks like Three Idiots, people have heard about soil. Every student said that it seems that Amir Khan has been to soil, or have you spoken to him about soil? But the method of education that is being talked about, Three Idiots, is absolutely correct. That is soil for you. Absolutely. Shweta wants to know what is the exam structure of soil. Well, Shweta, we have many ways of evaluation. Some of them are quizzes, some of them are tests, some of them are projects, some of them are group projects, some of them are based on the blogs you are encouraged to write. So the evaluation is based on many, many methods. It's not just a traditional exam which checks for how much knowledge you have. Knowledge is only a small part of learning. How you apply that knowledge convert it into skill is another part. How you demonstrate that in your behavior is another part. So I think we look at overall assessment, not just purely the traditional examination system. And we have a competency model. In soil, we never compare students with one another. We compare them with their own selves and their own standards. So we define in every course what is a role model student, what is a student who is called accomplished, who is a competent student, who is a beginner, and who is a novice. Every faculty says this is a way of defining a novice, this is a way of defining a beginner, a competent person, accomplished person, and a role model. And each faculty member defines it in their own way. And that is what is given weightage in the school. Tushar wants to know, you have an economics and finance background, but very lately you have developed great interest in human resources. It's my passion since my profile speaks volumes about my finance background. Will my predilection towards human resources be led to any confusion in the minds of selectors? No. There are a lot of people applying to our HR program who have done engineering, economics, finance. It doesn't matter what you have studied. If you have a true passion for human resources, you should apply. And sometimes the background in economics and finance can be helpful in HR, because that will help you to do the HR analytics work, the work in compensation and benefits. That's an important part of HR, the reward practice, and many consulting companies prefer that. And so I think you should not worry about that at all. Khwab Trikha wants to know, you are a fresher interested in HR program. Will only 1 year diploma be enough for me to make a place in corporate world? Well, for your information, Khwab, in the first 2 batches which have passed out of soil, we have had the opportunity to have about 45-50 students in HR who have passed out. Out of those 50 students, there have been as many as 15 of them who were freshers, and all of them have been placed. So there is no such problem of freshers in HR not getting a job. In fact, many of them have got jobs. And in fact, some of them have got the best jobs. So it does not matter on experience. Yeah. Yeah, Srinivas is making a comment that you are glad that we don't participate in rankings, because whichever school website you open, everybody claims to be in the top 10 rankings. See, we refuse to play this rankings game. But we will join the process of accreditation. When the new government regulation comes up on accreditation, which is a way to give a rating to schools on, it's like giving the rating to hotels, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. I think government is starting some similar scheme of giving some ratings, or like you do for stock exchanges, like CRISIL has a triple bond rating, AAA, A+. I think that kind of accreditation where there is an absolute standard to evaluate schools, once that starts, we will participate. But this rankings and ratings game, see, we don't do it even in our own school. We don't believe in students competing with each other and saying, I am better than you and therefore I have a better score than you. We don't do that in our school. We don't believe in comparisons with one another, and we refuse to play the rankings game with other business schools. We are doing our own exceptional work. I think our performance should show in the performance of our students, whom we love very much and who are doing the school proud. That is what will give us the rankings. When the people inside a company, when Infosys says to us, I recruited your student, I also recruited from IIM Ahmedabad, I also recruited from Stanford University, and this is unique about your student. We don't want Infosys to tell us as to, this person is better than your, this student from this school. There's 120,000 people work in Infosys. What good will that comparison lead to? But we want them to tell us in what way is our student unique. What is special about our student? That's what we want to hear. And then we want to compare, is our learning design working? Are our students really the leaders with character, competence and enthusiasm? That's what this is about. Tushar, you are facing a bit difficulty in seeking references for my form. Can my faculty who used to teach us English during the common admission test be my reference, as she has been accessing me past 2 years? Yes, you can give a reference from your teacher who was helping you in the CAT. That's fine. If she was your teacher for 2 years and she can give you a reference like that, that's fine. That will work. So I think we are slowly getting to the end of this interaction of this webinar. I think it's past 7, so let me just end up by thanking each one of you. And I just want to tell you that if you are truly interested in making yourself into a better person, do that. If you truly want to become a better human being, do that. If you have a dream that you are truly inspired by, if you wake up in the night and say, this is what I stand for, and I want to find a way to be with other like-minded people who have a dream in their heart and who truly want to make a difference to this world, do that. Then all of you are very welcome to be part of the Soil family. On the other hand, if you are looking for a quick formula for earning more money, getting a degree on your resume so that your market value goes up, or if you are looking for a quick way to get a promotion, or if you are finding a quick way to get a good placement, please don't join Soil. This is not the reason why we created this school. We are not a placement factory. We are not promising quick success. We are not finding shortcuts to make more money. That's not what this school is about. If you join us, you will find you are going to be uncomfortable. But if you are, you have got that, you are a dreamer, you have ideals in your heart, if you want to really make a difference to this world, then this is the right school. So I want to thank you very much for listening to us this evening, and I want to wish you all the very best.